back to Nussmeier. Again off to Kane. Kane with a little bit of a hole. Breaks a tackle at the 41. Down the middle of the field. Runs into traffic at the 15. Breaks away at the 5. And he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Fighting Tigers. 49-yard run for Noah Kane. Just would not go down. The Lobos a couple of opportunities to make the tackle, and Noah Kane said, not tonight, not right now. Well, and the Tigers extend the lead 30-0.
He created that almost all by himself. He hit a pile of people and he ran through, and another pile he ran through, and finally another high pile that he ran through for the score.
Hello and welcome into Tigers Roar. I am Jonathan Poche, wearing the sunglasses alongside the Budman Buddy Songy for the Saints loss. Not only did I loss, but almost a loss of hope for a lot of Saints fans out there. But they were not going to show the Saints on this program. They were that bad. 22-14. We won't show you the low lights. We won't show you the worst team in the NFL doing whatever they wanted to the Saints. This is the only time we're going to talk about it. That's why I'm wearing the sunglasses. I want to welcome in the Budman on a Tuesday here on Tigers Roar.
Taping on September the 27th. Hope everybody doing well. LSU 3-1, Saints 1-2. A lot to talk about. You saw Noah Kane with the 49-yarder. LSU needs to continue to get excellent play from the running back, or Monty Goodwin, as most people know, tweaked the hammy. And so as we move forward, 33% of the regular season already in the books. Going to the jungle and the plains, it's always crazy what goes on in Auburn. And the LSU fan base is still screaming with the RAs because Tennessee is coming in here next weekend at 11 a.m. Next week we'll tape on Wednesday, but we've got plenty for you on a Tuesday afternoon right here. Good to be back. And appreciate TK filling in for me last week. That's right. TK did a great job. Certainly good to see him. Budman, Coach Brian Kelly said 1 time's an accident, 2 times a coincidence, 3 times a habit. That's 3 wins in a row for LSU. Building good habits, but this next month is going to be the real test of where this team's at. I think you see that LSU is in a rebuild in year 1, but it's interesting to see a lot of these true freshmen. History, JP, never before a true freshman at left tackle and a true freshman at right tackle. Will Campbell, Emory Jones doing a great job on the offensive line. But now Charles Turner, who's a little undersized as a center, we'll find out if LSU can push people around with the run game right up the A-gap in the next 5 games in the SEC, at Auburn, hosting Tennessee, at Florida, hosting Ole Miss, open date, and then hosting Alabama. We're going to find out. Look, man, on defense, they've got some guys coming back. Joe Fouché from a 4-game suspension. B.J. Ojulari will line up and play this week along with Jay Ward. And how about Harold Perkins? That's right. And the way he is tweaking his body to get pressure. He leads LSU, the true freshman, in tackles after 4 games. That's right. He had 8 total tackles against New Mexico. Harold Perkins, he's played 3 different positions already for the Tigers this season. You see what he can do rushing the passer. Look, that guy is a freak of nature specimen. You can't get him on the field enough. Of course, Coach Brian Kelly knows as a true freshman, you can't really overload him with the whole playbook, so he's just giving him little pieces of the playbook to let him play fast. Harold Perkins is going to be a problem for a long time for opposing offenses. And you got to love the job Matt House has done, folks. This is premium coaching when you hear the head coach say, we want to show one defense at the snap, but as soon as it gets snapped, we're going to go into another defense. That is called disguising what they're going to play. They've been very aggressive. Now, they've only had 11 sacks in 4 games. Want to see them get more productive there. But how about Jaden Daniels? Now, we're going to talk about Nuss having a good rebound game last weekend. But Jaden Daniels is leading LSU in rushing, 6 yards a carry with 2 rushing touchdowns. Right. And, of course, averaging 209 a game in the air with 6 touchdowns and 0 INTs. I don't think anybody can gripe about the number 5, Jay Ward on defense, and Jaden Daniels on offense. Well, decisiveness is part of the vocabulary Coach Brian Kelly says when he watches the tape on Jaden Daniels. And that can only prove to
serve the Tigers well here and going towards SEC play this month. It's the first true road test for Coach Brian Kelly's team. Did play the first game in the Superdome. Of course, that's down in New Orleans. It's a short bus ride, but getting on a plane, going to the Plains, Coach Brian Kelly says the enemy this week is distractions. We'll talk a whole lot more about LSU football. Take a first break of this Tigers Roar. Before I do that, I want to remind you guys, check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. It's a great way to keep up with everything we do here at the Pelican. All of the Tigers Roar episodes are archived there for your viewing pleasure. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you get notified every time we post something new on our YouTube page. Once again, that's youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. We tape here on a Tuesday from Old School Barbecue, one of the hottest, newest, best barbecue places in Baton Rouge. Come check it out when you have time for lunch, dinner, anytime. The Boss Hog Sandwich, a great lunch special, a big sandwich, 2 sides, and a drink for under $8. Come check it out, Old School Barbecue. We have a whole lot more here on Tigers Roar. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this break.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Your favorite season is back, and now's the time you can score savings at the Team Automotive Group. You can sell your vehicle to us, and we'll pay you top value. Or buy here and get a 90-day warranty on the purchase of a pre-owned vehicle. Score VIP service and save at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Up to the
We continue here on Tigers Roar as the Budman takes a sip of that H2O, refreshing, just like the Tigers, right?
Best drink of all, water. Once again, stay hydrated. A lot of people trading back congestion, viruses, and all that. Stay hydrated. Take your vitamin D, C, and E. And we have the sunglasses on one more segment because, and I've come to this with a little common sense. People were literally PO'd and screaming with the RA because it was announced yesterday at about noon that LSU would play Tennessee at 11 a.m. Everybody in the country says, oh, look, Ole Miss is having to play Kentucky at 11. But I think people are not as locked into what this means to the event, to tailgating, to recruiting. And a lot of people thought that Georgia playing Auburn in the D-South oldest rivalry, but they're going to get clobbered. As we know, Auburn is not much of a team this year. But a lot of people upset that 11 o'clock. I call it the Bourbon and Cheerios game. So one more segment with the sunglasses for the SEC, the CBS, the ESPNs that put LSU Tennessee at 11. But here's the I guess you could say, the common sense theory I have. I'll take 11 o'clock A&M with LSU and Tennessee, and we miss out on this latest major hurricane.
Yeah, no doubt.
Look, we want to hope all of you put your prayers and thoughts into those people, especially in the Tampa Bay area and in Florida area. It's going to miss us. We don't want it to go anywhere, but we needed a break. This state needs a break this year with tropical storms and hurricanes. So I'm going to justify 11 a.m. by saying at least we didn't have to deal with Ian.
I'm going to say one thing about the 11 a.m. kickoff, Bud, man. I was discouraged at first, but then I remember the old adage. You can't drink all day unless you start early in the morning. And that's what those Tiger fans are going to do. No doubt it's going to be an atmosphere.
I like it. And, oh, by the way, LSU stat historian Todd Politz came out with the stat. Since this century started, since 2000, folks, LSU's 8-0 on a morning game. And I did not even remember LSU Florida last year was at 11 o'clock. And LSU prevailed 49-42. So, look, I know it's going to affect tailgating. It's going to affect recruiting. And a lot of the guys coming in now, they'll probably bring them in for Ole Miss and Alabama. But let's just make the best of the situation. And you got to like a trend that says 8-0.
Yep. All right, we're going to talk some LSU, New Mexico from this past weekend. We do have some highlights. We'll ask Alan, who's running the bus by himself, and they're doing a great job to run those highlights. And we'll continue this conversation. Bud, man, Jaden Daniels, 24 for 29, 279 yards, no touchdowns, but was taking care of business, made it a point to stay inside the pocket and work through his progressions against New Mexico.
I really like the way they threw the short pass. You dink and dunk. You throw into your backs out the backfield. Still using a lot of tight ends there. Josh Williams is old reliable with a nice pickup for a first down.
10 different receivers caught a pass in this game for the Tigers, led by Neighbors. He had 6. Jack Besh also had 6. It was great to see number 80 back on the field, Bud, man. That punt return, it did get called back, so it didn't count, but I know you noticed all 10 guys trying to block for Jack Besh. The team loves that guy.
Armani Goodwin getting in the end zone. That's his 5th rushing touchdown, but he probably is going to sit out this weekend with a hammy. And once again, LSU tacking appreciably better in space as Mekhi Garner comes in and makes the stop.
You mentioned earlier the defense gets Joe Fuchsia back this week. He missed 4 games with an ineligibility. This is a great catch by Chris Hilton Jr. right here. The guy's got track star speed. It's good to see him take the top off of defenses.
He is LSU's answer to Chris Olave. Of course, Hilton, if he could have been led a little bit more, would have had a big, long reception for that, as always. Got to get Hilton the deep ball and hook up with that, and I think they'll work on that this week.
Coach was asked about the place-kicking duties, if he had still had faith in Ramos. He said, I have the utmost faith, 100% faith. His mentality, the way he works through his coaching points, keeping Damian Ramos as a kickoff and extra point kicker. Did make a change for kickoffs, though, I guess.
They did put Nathan Dybert back in the last 2 kickoffs. There's a guy that's really played a lot better. We're talking about Savion Jones with a half sack. Of course, he was out. They sat B.J. Ojolari and Jay Ward, and now here you go, throwing out in space, out in the flat, and letting your playmakers run after the catch.
I tell you, we said we weren't going to talk about the Saints, but if Jameis Winston can only watch this tape and throw it to your running backs when they're right in front of your face. A great another reception right there by Williams. He had a good game. Look, if this LSU running back room can keep progressing and keep working, you talk about Emery and Goodwin, Kane, they all had their little moments during this game. That's something LSU needs to really work on, continue to progress.
Don't get too arrogant about this LSU-Auburn game this Saturday. LSU is a 7-point favorite. Everybody knows Auburn is a hot mess right now, but they have defeated LSU the last 2 times. And I don't know if you remember the last time LSU went over to Auburn, TJ Finley lit up South Carolina in his first start at home, but this was his first road start. Had a pick 6, had a fumble picked up for a score. They lost 48-11. You never want to not be ready to play Auburn. I want to see them start fast in this game on Saturday night.
Yeah,
JP.
you know Auburn's going to rely on that run. Big Tank Bisbee's got over 2,000 career rush yards already at Auburn. Jaden Daniels, you see what he can do with his legs. I would like to see him be more protected this Saturday against Auburn because they have a big defensive front.
This is a big play here now. This was a back issue, not a concussion issue, but Jaden Daniels is going to have to get down and slide and quit taking the punishment or he won't make it to Alabama. Once again, quick pass out in the flat and good yardage. And here we go with Noah Cain with his first touchdown of the night.
That's right. First of 2, the offensive line was moving guys against their will. That's what Coach Kelly likes to see. It's good to see those 2 right tackles. I mean, the 2 tackles. True freshmen only getting better each week, bud man.
But here's the question. Is LSU, and there's Noah Cain, his best run of the season. This guy was a leading running back all through fall camp. Finally, a big marquee run for him, but will LSU be able to push the pile and play better in the line of scrimmage once these 5 games, the SEC, go back to back to back?
They spread it around a little bit. Noah Cain had 11 carries, 94 yards, 2 touchdowns. Had that long run of 49 yards you just saw. Armani Goodwin also had 8 carries for 24 yards, had the 2 touchdowns, and then John Emery also had 9 carries and 45 yards. Did a good job in pass pro, too.
And here is Brian Thomas Jr. Look, we've compared him favorably to Terrace Marshall in year 2 at LSU. I think Brian Thomas Jr. is going to have a chance to make plays. Big play for Nussmeier to get his confidence back here, JP.
Great blocking downfield, too, right here. Kyron Lacey, you see him leading the pack. And,
yeah.
You want to block for your teammates. When it scores a long touchdown like that, it just feels so much better. Great tape right there for LSU wide receivers.
All right, I took the sunglasses off momentarily after we had the opening, and so you still have them on for Tennessee. Yeah, it's your prerogative, like we say
man.
on the look. We're not much to look at, although I will say this. LSU through 4 games. Got to keep you humble, my man.
Right.
LSU through 4 games. The good, the bad, and ugly. Where are they better? Where are they still deficient? And can this team get better each week, which is what the fan base is hoping for, so that when you have Tennessee come in here in a couple of weeks, this crowd is going to have a little belief when they go into the stadium Saturday morning.
Those are all great questions, Bud, man. The guy who can answer those questions is head coach Brian Kelly. We'll take a quick break here on Tigers Roar. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit. Then you'll hear from the head coach himself. You're watching Tigers Roar.
Creel Tree Service is a licensed and insured tree service providing tree and stump removal, topping, trimming, cabling, pruning, and fertilizing. We have free stump removal with takedowns, free estimates, affordable rates, and senior citizens discounts. Call 774-TREE. That's 774-8733. Get your yard ready for the warmer weather. If it deals with a tree, call me, Creel Tree Service, 774-8733. That's 774-TREE.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
The 2022 Mazda CX-5 with iActive all-wheel drive and available turbo engine. It truly ignites the senses.
Save on your new CX-5 right now during the season of discovery at Team Mazda.
Caught spiders. best services.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
And we continue here on Tigers Roar. LSU football sits at 3-1, undefeated in the SEC. They're going to the Plains. Auburn, Alabama take on those Auburn Tigers. Just came off a SEC win against Missouri, 17-14 in overtime. But
that was almost a gift. Missouri was getting ready to score a touchdown and fumbled it about the inch-yard line, and Auburn prevailed. Look, they are a dangerous team in this regard. Everybody knows Brian Harsin wants a $15 million check to walk away, and there is an appreciable bit of the Auburn boosters, money men, and fan base that want him to go. So they're sitting here and saying, do we pull for Auburn to win because we want him to be fired?
Right.
That all being said, look, if you get out and play the way you played in the last couple of weeks, and LSU will take care of business. But something crazy always happens in this game, and I hope somebody at LSU will tell Brian Kelly before the end of the week, it's Jordan-Hare Stadium, not Jordan.
There you go. Well, head coach Brian Kelly had a lot to say about this past weekend's game against New Mexico, and also looking forward to this Saturday, Jordan-Hare Stadium. I said Jordan earlier, but man, so I appreciate that. I learned something every day.
Jordan. Look, everybody knows I get crazy when you say LeBlanc and put the C in there, but this has been a tradition, and he'll learn. I mean, Saban still wants to know the answer. Why is Ole Miss called Ole Miss?
Yeah.
Some crazy SEC traditions, but look, we had the fire burning at night. We had all the craziness, and you know what? Refereeing at Auburn is never a good deal for LSU. You've seen some of those screw jobs before.
Well, Coach Brian Kelly says his team has done everything they've asked. They've completely bought into the system. Now it's time to really gauge where this team is at this next month. Here is head coach Brian Kelly here on Tigers Roar.
Afternoon. We'll do a quick recap on this past weekend. I think what I'd like to just point out is, consistency, takes its, shape in many ways. For us, it's been, a football team that has had to do a lot of things differently. And with that comes blind faith, and I told our team I was really proud of the way they have just embraced change. It's hard. It's hard for everybody to change, and so I've been really proud of the way they have embraced change and done the things that we've asked them to do to become more consistent on a day-to-day basis, and within our process and their preparation and their mindset, their habits, the way they think, and we've been able to make the progress necessary to have a modest winning streak, and this is modest. We've got a lot of work ahead of us. This month will tell us a lot, right? We've got an SEC slate in front of us over the next 4 weeks, which will challenge us to a new level, and we'll certainly find out even more about our grit and what kind of football team this will continue to grow to be. We know where our issues are. It's a team that will fight, but we're thin in some areas, and so we've got to make sure we keep our team rested, we've got to stay away from injuries, things of that nature. But there's no doubt about the fight. These guys will fight for the right reasons, and I just wanted to make sure that from my perspective that this win this past weekend against the New Mexico team was significant in that we built some consistency with a group that has been willing to follow a whole new pattern, and it's been enjoyable. Now we get into, obviously the SEC over the next month. 2 games on the road, 2 at home, and we begin with Auburn. I think the first thing is that, routines will stay the same other than we're going to get on a plane. But we'll be in a stadium that will not be pro LSU. The first month of the season, it was pro LSU for the most part. So now the enemy is distractions. And so we'll have to do a great job of not being distracted, to be focused on making sure that our guys are locked in on what's important. And we'll work on that skill this week. As well as the preparation that we've had all year. Auburn has some talented football players. Offensively, both backs are outstanding. Bigsby obviously is a 3-year starter, over 2,000 career rushing yards, 19 touchdowns. I think that's kind of for us. When we're watching film, the running backs are outstanding players. Ashford at quarterback started last week against Missouri. He too is a great runner. That's going to be our biggest concern is to keep him in wraps in terms of running the football. He's very capable. He's a transfer from Oregon, extremely gifted athlete, and again I think. From our perspective, a guy that can throw it, but more importantly, a dual threat quarterback that is dangerous running the football. Outstanding receiving core, and a defense that has a guy that's a game wrecker in Derek Hill. He's a guy that you're going to have to find. We'll have to game plan and make sure we know where he is. Riley, outstanding linebacker. And again, a football team that's playing at home, coming off its SEC win against Missouri in overtime. It'll be a great challenge for our football team. So, with that, we'll open it up to questions.
Right in the middle.
Yes.
You mentioned Ashford at quarterback. Do you expect Ashford to start, or are you going to prepare for multiple quarterbacks this week?
I think you always have to keep an eye on whether Finley plays as well. Certainly. He gives you, the throwing end of things. So we'll have to prepare for both. We don't have any firsthand information that one's playing over the other, but we'll be prepared for either one.
Brian, down here at the bottom, just any injury updates? I mean, Jaden, is he still feeling okay? And then Armani and Jay Ward as well.
Yeah, Jaden, no residual effect from Saturday. He'll be able to practice. Let's see, Jay Ward feeling really good. I think he's a go for Tuesday. We'll probably limit his workload on Tuesday, but he should be able to go. Amani, it'll be a day-to-day situation with him.
Just right in the middle, Coach. Just wondering what prompted your opening remarks there. Were you pleasantly surprised by kind of their focus, I guess, for lack of a better word, and your ability to kind of coalesce everything?
Well, I think it was important to point out that, in anything that you do, right, when there's change, it requires a commitment. And even though this is a modest winning streak of 3 games, it should be noted that these guys are doing everything possible to make sure that LSU football regains its place, and they're working really hard at it. But there's still a lot of work ahead of us. So I just wanted to make sure that it was duly noted that there's going to be some tough days ahead of us, and we're going to have to grind through it. But they are giving us all that they have.
Brian, I mean,
just considering, you're switching guys, Jay Ward and Greg Brooks, and you've had guys out with injuries. Now Joe's back this week. I mean, what has the challenge been, or maybe not at all, of just kind of the constant movement in that back end?
You would like a little bit more continuity. I think Matt, Carey have done a really good job of communicating what we need to do back there, and I think it's going to be a little bit easier, with a Joe Fouché in terms of he's an experienced player. So it was a little bit more difficult when we had to move Jarek back there because you didn't have an experienced safety. So, as we move forward now with Jay Ward probably coming back this week and being healthy and getting Joe, you've got experience back there. So in one instance, you would like a little bit more continuity, but on the positive side, with Brooks, Fouché, and Jay Ward, you've got experience.
Hey, Coach, here in the middle, the hurricane appears to be heading towards Florida and hopefully not in the path of your game, but is this something you're going to have to monitor? Your officials obviously watching throughout the week?
Yeah, no doubt, Jock. We've talked about a game plan in terms of what it might look like. Hopefully that's going to pass through. We're going to get probably some rain of some kind, and that'll be our first time in that kind of element. It's a grass situation, so you put those plans together relative to what that would look like if, in fact, we did get hit with some severe rain.
Yeah, Brian, right here. How big was the New Mexico game for Jaden Daniels and his growth? I mean, what did you go back on the film and see that in the game it was obvious he was determined to stay in the pocket, but what did you go back and look at film? What did you see?
There are a couple things. Decisiveness is starting to be part of the vocabulary instead of being hesitant, and that comes with knowledge of the offense. I think the other thing is that he has become a lot quicker in his setup. I think I mentioned this, quick feet, but slowing down and not rushing through progressions. I think one of the bigger plays in his development was the dig that he threw to Dre Jenkins in the red zone. That was his fourth receiver through a progression. Those are the kind of things you're looking for in terms of development of a quarterback, and we're starting to see that, as well as the screen to Malik Neighbors, how quickly that ball comes out. So I think a little bit of everything was coming together, and the word I would use is just he's becoming more comfortable and more decisive.
LeBron in the middle. Not to harp on the open again, but you seem pleased. Is this team better through 4 games than you thought they'd be, or are you pleased with the progress over a month?
I guess the setup was we're going to find out now. This first month was kind of like let's put this together, and the preface was, these guys have worked really hard to do exactly what we've asked them to do. They've put themselves in a position. They have, followed a process, and they've been consistent with it. Now we're going to have to apply it to the SEC, and that is a step up. So the next month, there's going to be some good days, and there's going to be some bad days, and they cannot. Try to do things differently. When it's like anything else, the old, Mike Tyson line, everybody's got a plan until they get hit in the mouth, right? I mean, we're going to have to stick with our plan and stick with our process every single day, and because we're going to get hit in the mouth. And we're going to have to trust it and keep going. And I guess that was the preface that I was trying to make.
Everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth, bud, man. LSU.
Mike Tyson.
That's right, Mike Tyson. Look, LSU, as Coach Brian Kelly said in his press conference, there's going to be some tough days here the next month. I mean, without a doubt, there's going to be growing pains. There's going to be things that don't go his way. He wants his players, his whole program, to remember what they bought into in the spring, in the fall, the first 4 weeks. Just because things get tough, don't revert back to what you used to do, and that's going to be the test.
Obviously, Coach Brian Kelly getting a taste of SEC football on the road. This will be the first SEC road game, and then they've got obviously a couple more toughies. Look, at Arkansas and at Texas A&M are going to be tough games. Yep. But JP, I think everybody is excited with this regard. You don't know which team in the SEC is going to show up. Arkansas up 14-7, stupid play call, 14-point swing on the play. They miss a field goal and lose. Florida has been hit and miss. A&M was lucky to win. Yep. A lot of winnable games. Worry about LSU week to week. Tigers are 7-point favorites. And expect craziness Saturday night because that is the history of this rivalry.
It'll be the third time Coach Brian Kelly takes his team into an SEC venue. Didn't turn out quite the way he wanted to in 2019. His Notre Dame team lost to Georgia. Going back a little ways, he was at Central Michigan. They also lost to Kentucky. So looking for his first win in an SEC venue. LSU's got a tough task, but I think they execute the way they're able to. They're going to be able to run the ball, set up that pass, and get Jaden Daniels going with his feet. We're going to take a quick break here on Tigers Roar. We come back, we'll talk some basketball. Basketball during football season? That's right, LSU basketball kicking off this week. We'll let you guys hear from the head coaches of both men's and women's basketball. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Tigers Roar.
Taste the feeling.
The Post on Church Point Road in Gonzales would like to invite everyone to their newly renovated events hall, a beautiful 9,600 square foot facility that features a 5,500 square foot main hall and a separate 600 square foot conference room. Renters have access to our huge kitchen, large stage, tables, chairs, bar, and covered outdoor cooking. So plan your next wedding, party, conference, and more at The Post on Church Point Road, Gonzales.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi gang, Clarence Buggs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Buggs Show.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonecountryClub.com.
Your favorite season is back, and now's the time you can score savings at the Team Automotive Group. You can sell your vehicle to us, and we'll pay you top value. Or buy here and get a 90-day warranty on the purchase of a pre-owned vehicle. Score VIP service and save at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
We know it's football season here in South Louisiana. Trust me, we've been paying attention, but it's also the beginning of basketball season. Amy just shut off my TVs. We'll continue this TV show as we go. It's okay. here on Tigers Roar. We got to do it live. It's all right. So
she does a great job over here. Come ask for Amy when you come to Old School Barbecue. And, oh, by the way, Kim Mulkey, Matt McMahon, and Brian Kelly all had Monday press conferences. And, folks, we're going to let you hear a little bit with Matt McMahon and Coach Mulkey.
Yeah.
Kim Mulkey in year 2 is going to be loaded. I'm going to make this prediction right now on Tuesday, September 27, 2022. The Pete Maravich Assembly Center is going to be the place to be moving forward in the hoops. Matt McMahon had 0 players. He's now got an excellent 13-man roster.
Yep.
Wants to play 8 or 9. Kim Mulkey, piece it together. Year 2, so the number 2. Piece it together. And a lot of talented players, including a rapper and a basketball star in Floje Johnson.
Yep.
And of course, don't forget about gymnastics. Jay Clark, they led the country in attendance last year. So get ready to go to the Pete Maravich Assembly Center starting in November all the way through February, March.
You mentioned the roster that Coach McMahon had when he got to LSU. He does bring some players from Murray State, but he had to really work on the guys that were here. Adam Miller was a huge get for Coach McMahon. I mean, he knows it was an honor for that player to choose to stay with Coach McMahon at LSU. Look, sight unseen, he believed in what the pitch was from Coach McMahon. They're still looking for the leaders, obviously. It's all new faces. But Coach Mulkey, I mean, the only downside of being an absolute superstar in year 1 is how do you repeat that in year 2? How do you come in second place to the national champs in the SEC? She has a lot of talent on this roster. Did very well recruiting players out of high school. Signed a great class. You mentioned the rap star who's huge social media following. That's going to bring some juice to LSU's program.
And the transfer portal.
Coach Mulkey kind of related it to the Major League Baseball free agency, which she's very familiar with her son Kramer.
Sure.
He switched teams just this past season, but as soon as somebody's designated as a free agent, boom, it pops up on a computer. You have somebody watching that computer at all time. You're always trying to keep your players happy while watching that transfer portal. They kind of asked Coach Mulkey, look, and is it different between year 2 at Baylor and year 2 at LSU because of that transfer portal? And Coach Mulkey said, look, we won a national championship in 5 years at Baylor. I think you're able to get better quicker with the transfer portal these days.
And I think Coach Mulkey will have that team in the top 10 at some point. Look, good coaches have a way of getting teams to play together. This has got to be the we mentality versus the me mentality. Oh, by the way, since I hadn't gotten anything right in the last month, how about Kayshawn Booty getting into the end zone with his first touchdown on Saturday night against Auburn?
Yep.
But Matt McMahon and Kim Mulkey, Brian Kelly, Jay Johnson, you all see the same mindset. You hear the same words. You hear the process and all the rebuilding, the commitment. Scott Woodward's done a good job, although you still have to be cognizant. LSU still in a rebuild with football, both basketball programs and baseball. But this ought to be a heck of a year coming up here, JP, 2022-23.
I thought a bunch of good questions were asked of Coach McMahon. One of being, how do you motivate your players when you're not sure what the postseason is going to look like at this point? You don't know what sanctions or possible bans are going to happen. And Coach McMahon was very honest. He said, look, this is the SEC. Players come here to play against the best on the biggest stage. You get your face time on a national stage if you play at LSU. It's not all about the big dance in March, but of course that is a enticing factor to a program. But between both Coach McMahon and Coach Mulkey, the sky is the limit with both of these programs. Two fantastic coaches. You talked about the job that Scott Woodward's done. Someone asked Coach McMahon, was it a draw to come be around all of these, Hall of Fame coaches and Brian Kelly and Kim Mulkey? And Matt McMahon was very honest, very candid.
He got a little shaken up. He got a little emotional.
He said, look, I'm going to bring my notebook to Coach Kim Mulkey's practices because I know she's a legend. I appreciate the way Coach Brian Kelly does it and Jay Johnson. There was a million reasons for Matt McMahon to come to LSU, but he puts that reason, the excellent coaches around him, right up there to the top.
Memphis got their penalty from the IARP. It was a nothing burger on a slap on the wrist, and LSU is going to get a slap on the wrist, although I do project Will Wade to get at least a 5-year show cause. James Craig, most of you know, cleared up the football stuff with the illegal recruiting of Tristan Lee. James Craig got a 3-year show cause. Of course, he's no longer the offensive line coach. But look, I'm thinking positively, and I'm hoping that LSU basketball will have some sanctions, but not anything in postseason play.
Well, here are some brief comments from head basketball coach of the men and women. Men's head basketball coach Matt McMahon and women's head basketball coach Kim Mulkey. Here is their press conference, their opening statements here on Tigers Roar.
Thanks, Kent. Appreciate everyone being here today. It's an exciting time for us. Finally get to kick off the season here with the first practice on Wednesday. This summer and fall has been all about laying the foundation, what the culture of the program we want it to be. And I'm excited to get started on Wednesday because now it's about competition and a player evaluation and really start to determine what our core group is going to look like. So best time of the year for us, first day of practice on Wednesday. Love to open it up for any questions. Yes, sir.
Hey, Coach. Glenn West with Go247. Just, when you kind of mentioned it here, but, I mean, you guys, you come back with 3 players that you brought in from Murray State, but this is pretty much a brand-new roster. Just how do you go about evaluating this team in terms of the roles that are going to be defined this year?
It's a great question, Glenn. We've started that process. It's been a little bit of a different year for us and how we want to build our team. I would prefer the summer and fall to be more player development driven, a lot of individual workouts and so forth. But with us having essentially 13 new players, new staff, we've done a lot more team events this summer and fall to start to build the chemistry of the group, to start the installation process of offense, defense, and special team schemes. And then now I think as practice starts, ultimately the players will determine who plays through their production on the court and practice, their ability to impact winning. And so we'll have very competitive practices. I'm equal opportunity there. You can come and earn as many minutes as you want and really work to determine your role within the team. Where I might vary from others, you won't see us running any platoon systems. 12 players aren't going to play. We like to get to that top 8 or 9 and keep our best players on the floor as much as possible. So these next 6 weeks will be critical in determining who those guys are going to be.
Yeah, Ron Higgins, Tiger Details. Your 3 Murray State guys, have they kind of been your kind of natural leaders so far because they've been through your system? They know, the workouts, the discipline. Have other players kind of gravitated to them for answers?
Well, I think that's part of the goal for them. They certainly have a great understanding of what we want the program to look like, how we should function on a daily basis, what the energy in the gym at practice should be like. All of those things are very important. But I don't ever want to put a limit on who the leaders are of the team. I've been a part of great teams that just had 1 leader. I've been a part of great teams that had 5. I think Imwani Wilkinson and Adam Miller, certainly with their familiarity here with LSU, being high-level players, those are also great candidates to be leaders of the team. But out of that Murray State group, I think Juice Hill, being at the point guard position, that's a critical part of being the point guard, is the ability to lead and impact others, set the tone for how we work, how we communicate and practice. I think he's done a terrific job of that.
All right, guys, here we go. Hit me with your best shots.
All right, Coach. How is the assimilation, the cohesiveness? How's it all going for you?
Well, it's not there, certainly. Our theme for the year is piece it together, and the 2 obviously is signifying my second year, or our second year at LSU. We have a lot of talent on the floor, but we got to piece it together. We've got kids coming from other programs, high school kids stepping on this college campus for the first time. We've got returning players who will have to play different roles. So we've got to piece it together, and that takes time. And they're excited. Today's the first day of practice. I'm excited, and we won't be with all of our squad today. We got a lot of issues and health going on, so there'll be some that won't be out there.
Hey, Coach. Obviously, with college sports in general just being so different with transfer portal and everything, how did you approach the portal, and how excited are you to obviously get these players in and get to know them and get them?
Well, the transfer portal is just like free agency in baseball. Those guys have somebody assigned to that computer now, right? And every time somebody gets DFA'd, boom, you pick them up. Well, that's kind of what the transfer portal is. We stay on top of it, and certainly it's here to stay. And we lost a tremendous class of seniors last year, and a lot of points and a lot of production. And so we had to fill a lot of needs, and we did that through the high school signings. But the big thing is experience when you sign high school kids, is that they don't have college experience. So the portal gives you some college experience, but they're in a new system now. So that's why we have to piece it together.
Kim, how different a challenge is this from that first year at Baylor? Is it that different, or is it similar, or is it like any other year you had at Baylor?
I think what we're doing is very similar to Baylor. When I got to Baylor, they were bottom of the Big 12, and I want to say had won 7 ball games. Last year, I inherited a program that had won 9 ball games. And, let me tamper it down a little bit. We won 26 basketball games and finished second in the league to the national champions. There's no way that you can stand here today and think you're going to do even better than that. Not with new faces. We aspire to do that, but I can't look into a crystal ball and see how quickly we all get on the same page.
And that was head coach of the men's basketball team, Matt McMahon, and head coach of the women's basketball team, and Kim Mulkey. Of course, you know Coach Mulkey. She did a great job last year. But Matt McMahon might be a new face to a lot of you guys out there. I want to let him spread some wisdom on you. I was impressed with Coach McMahon's press conference, but, man, he was very well-spoken, seemed very intelligent.
No doubt about it. And I'm going to predict a trifecta. Look, it won't happen overnight, but I think Kim Mulkey's going to have a sellout this year. I think Matt McMahon hopefully has a sellout this year. And I guarantee you that Jay Clark and the gymnastics team will have a sellout. As I said earlier, get ready to go to the Pete Maravich Assembly Center. And as we know in this town, we get into basketball and the scrutiny of basketball contingent upon how football goes.
Exactly.
And look, we saw Brian Kelly. I think most people are happy that he is tweaking his lineup. Mm-hmm. And right now, we're going to find out if they can move people with their offensive line. I think the defensive line and the defense is going to be all good, but they've got to get a little more consistency on special teams if you're going to go in there and win Saturday night and then come in and pull the first big top 10 upset under the Brian Kelly regime in year one. Yep. Saban did it. He beat Mississippi State in year one, in overtime, Tennessee in overtime in year one. And both those times that happened, the goalpost came down 22 years ago, JP.
Last break of this episode of Tigers Roar. Come back and join us. We'll put a big bow on this episode. You are watching Tigers Roar.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
And we continue here on Tigers Roar. Remind you guys, check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. It's a great way to keep up with everything we do here at the Pelican. Just a couple minutes left here in the show, Bud, man. Tigers sit at 3-1, 1-0 in the SEC. What's your overall feel about Coach Brian Kelly right now, 4 games into the season?
I like the way he is going through this rebuild. This is a rebuild, not a reload. Don't forget, folks, LSU was sitting at about 73 scholarships right now. They will be able to sign unlimited numbers as long as they don't exceed 85. I think year 2 is going to be better. But look, grab what you can, and this is a game you got to go win Saturday night. I've got LSU winning this football game, something like 34-17. In a crazy atmosphere where their fan base will show up. Now, they may not stay there long, but their fan base will show up at the start of this game.
6 o'clock kickoff, Jordan-Hare Stadium, Bud. Man, what does LSU have to do to get off to a quick start against the Auburn Tigers?
Dink and dunk with the short passing game. Obviously run the football, be unpredictable with play calling, and on defense, disguise, send pressure. Don't let Ashford, their quarterback, get any big plays and get the confidence. You want to send a quick message to the Auburn crowd Saturday night.
That's right. Ashford, a dual-threat quarterback. Coach Brian Kelly is warning his guys about quick 3 and outs for LSU to start the game, and they'll be in the right spot. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to Tigers Roar this week. We certainly appreciate you. We'll be back next week, taping on a Tuesday, so check that out. If you miss it, check it out on YouTube, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. Don't forget, come check out Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard. It's a great place to have some barbecue. Check out the game. We appreciate you tuning in to Tigers Roar.